7 clear indications and signs, more than just red flags, but these are how you know that your marriage is dead or it is over. Okay, number 1, these are not in any particular order, some are worse than others. Okay, number 1 is abuse. Whenever there is ongoing abuse, whether it's emotional, sexual, verbal, or physical abuse, whatever kind of abuse it is, if it is an abusive relationship, the marriage is over. It doesn't mean you're not going to stay together for a while, because a lot of people stay into very dysfunctional and abusive relationships, but if that's not resolved, it's going to end badly. So, number 1, marriage is over when there is ongoing abuse. Number 2, indicator that the marriage is over is infidelity. Infidelity. Now, does that mean if somebody cheats one time that the marriage is over? Not necessarily, but when there is ongoing infidelity, now this may be adultery, it may be actually cheating, or it may be just lying and dishonesty. When there's ongoing dishonesty or lying in a relationship, and it's typically one person is doing the lying and really he's the one that is there, but I also want to say it's never just one person's fault. Like, I got cheated on. Well, okay. But cheating or infidelity is not caused by just one person being out of control. It's because something happened in the marriage that made them feel incomplete and unfulfilled in the relationship, that caused them to look outside of the marriage to find fulfillment. And that's what leads to cheating. So there's never like the guilty party and the innocent party. That was always the thing when I was young. When I was a preacher in the church, it was like, who's the guilty party? Who's the innocent party? Because the guilty party could never get remarried again without committing perpetual adultery and going to hell. Now, again, I don't believe that's actually what Scripture teaches. It is a convoluted and complex question, but in this conversation, just clear that there's never just one party at fault. But when it's happening and it's ongoing infidelity and there's ongoing lying or dishonesty, that relationship is over, my friend. It's dead. It is time to look at letting it go, because when that is happening, it tells you there's no respect for the other person, there is no care for the best interests of the other person, and everything that makes a marriage and made your vows true is gone. So stop settling for being lied to or cheated on. Just stop settling for it. Well, I'm trying to make it out. I'm trying to work it out for the kids. I'm trying to get them to come around. I'm trying to understand them. I'm trying to all this. No, my friend, you don't need to understand it. It ain't working. Okay? Not working. Accept it. Let it go. Number 3. Total indifference. When there is just on one or both parties just total indifference in the other person. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care about you. I don't care about any of it. When one or both of you does not have the will or the willingness to work on the relationship, to fix it, to heal it, to reconcile it, the marriage is dead. Now, you can stay together and you can be miserable. Okay? But whenever one person won't acknowledge that there's a problem and they're like, nah, it's fine. We're good. Well, I think we should go to couples counseling. If you think you need counseling, you need therapy, go to therapy. I'm not going. What they're telling you is, I'm not willing to work on this marriage. I am indifferent to this relationship. I'm indifferent to you and indifferent to your feelings and your needs. That relationship is over. The marriage is deceased. Okay, connected with that, number 4 is hopelessness. And that is when you've gotten to a point where you feel like you've tried everything, you've done your best, and nothing is changing. And you look at this relationship and go like, there's no hope. I mean, she's not going to change. Nothing's going to happen. I've tried and nothing is going to happen. Now you're going to get this thing that's going to come. I was like, should I try harder? When do I know I've tried enough? And all this kind of stuff. And you'll have a lot of times you'll have other people in your world, people from church, people that are friends, family, your in-laws, her side of the family, that will sometimes challenge you. Well, you didn't try hard enough. You should have tried harder and all this kind of stuff. When you feel like you have given it your best, you've given it your all, and you start losing your will to fight for it. It's like, I've done everything. There comes a point of hopelessness where it's just like, I'm done. I don't have the will to work on it anymore, because she's not showing any indication of willingness to work on it. Now, I also want to say this. If you're watching this video, for the most part, I'm talking to men. This is very relevant also if you're a woman watching this, but when I'm saying she's the one that's doing this, I'm not saying women are always the one at fault here. All I'm saying is my audience is typically men, so this is who I work with, this is who I address. So if you're a woman watching this, welcome, I'm glad you're here. And if you have questions or comments, whether you're a man or a woman going through this situation, please put the comments and questions in the chat here if you're watching this on YouTube, and I will be happy to answer questions. And it also helps me know what content you need and what content I can create for future videos. All right. So number 5, the fifth indicator that the marriage is over is separation. When one of the parties just leaves, okay, when they move out, when they just go, whether they are like, I'm out of here, and they completely load up the U-Haul and move out, or if they just pack up their suitcase and exit. Or if we say, we're going to try it for a while, we're going to separate. When a couple separates, it's over. 90% of the time, that marriage is over. And again, is it possible to reconcile? Yes, it is possible, but it is unlikely. And again, going back with all the red flags we've talked about and all the other scenario is the different situations and factors that are engaged in all of this, is when that happens, that moment of separation, they're telling you, I don't want to be in this marriage. And it's like, I'm exiting. And once they get a feel and a taste of what it's like to not have the tension of walk into the same bedroom or being in the same house, and there's just, when the tension is thick enough, you can cut it with a knife, as they say. Once their separation has happened, most of the time that marriage is over. I'm not excited about telling you that. It's just the truth. Number 6, the sixth indicator that the marriage is over is what I call terminal misery. Terminal misery. This kind of goes along with hopelessness, so it could be the same thing, but here's the question to ask yourself. If nothing changes in this relationship, meaning she's indicated or your spouse has indicated they're not interested and willing on working on this relationship, they're not going to change, they're not going to do anything with it. And you look at this, ask yourself this question: if nothing changes, will I be happy? If nothing changes, will I be happy? Like, how long am I going to sit here? Well, can you imagine yourself sitting here 2 Christmases from now in the living room around the Christmas tree with your kids or grandkids and grandkids or family or whoever it is, or if it's just the two of you? How many years are you going to be willing to sit and be miserable in the same room with that person and endure this terminal misery that's never going to go away? Okay? If the answer is, will you be happy if nothing changes? If the answer to that is no, the marriage is dead. It's over. Again, this doesn't mean you can't stay together. It just means the marriage is dead. And if you want to have a great life and you want happiness and you want fulfillment and you want a fulfilling relationship, it's not going to happen in this marriage. This marriage is over. Let her go. End it. And again, I say this all the time. Divorce is not what ends a marriage. Divorce is not what kills a marriage. Marriages don't die because of divorce. Divorce is the funeral. The marriage was already dead. You didn't kill it by getting a divorce. When you file for a divorce, that doesn't kill the marriage. It's acknowledging that the marriage is already gone. It's dead. The relationship is over. All we're doing is acknowledging it. So this idea of, well, I don't want to get a divorce because then God's going to judge me. God's already been judging you, my friend. You've been in a fucked up relationship and you haven't been doing the things and she hasn't been doing the things. Both of you have not been doing the things that you committed to do in your vows, or this would not be happening. It can be primarily one person's fault, but there's always responsibility to go around. So when you're in that situation and it's time to end it, acknowledge it's dead. It's time to end it. Number 7, the 7th sign that the marriage is over is what I call self-preservation. And self-preservation is when the only way for you to be true to yourself as a man or as a woman, the only way for you to be true to yourself, whoever's watching this, is to exit the relationship. Because if you don't, you're losing all respect for yourself and you're just going to self-destruct. Whether you can do it by sedation, by hiding in alcohol, booze, drugs, porn, other addictions, other behaviors, just to hide out in the marriage that is dead. And it's like the corpse of the dead marriage is sitting there in the living room and we're just going to live around it. And you know, as you look at that, the only way for me to be true to myself and live into my potential and to God's purpose for my life is to exit from this marriage. My friend, choose yourself. Choose you. Choose your future. Choose your life.